Moving on to our second session of the day, it's a pleasure to introduce Rizurekh Saha, Head of Product Automation and Generative AI at Yellow.ai. Rizurekh brings an impressive 13 plus years of experience in product development and strategy. His expertise extends to successfully launching multiple new products and scaling them up. Currently, he holds the position of Head of Product for CX Automation products and the core platform of natural language understanding, LLMs, and generative AI. Today, Rizurekh will be leading a session titled Unleashing the Power of LLMs, Real-World Business Transformations. During this session, we will uncover how LLMs are reshaping the business landscape in our latest exploration. Get ready to delve into practical applications, success stories, and tangible impacts that LLMs are making across industries. From revolutionizing customer interactions to optimizing decision-making processes, we will embark on a journey through the real-world business transformation powered by LLMs. Without further ado, can we please put our hands together for Rizurekh?
Thank you for the generous introduction. So I do want to start by saying that you will have at least one new listener today. My son is 8 years old, and I found the problem we are solving very relatable for him, and especially mythology and some of that. It excites him. He keeps talking about Ramayana. He knows more about Ramayana than I do by this point. And so I have already written to my wife that we need to check out that podcast. So it's a really good one. All right. So now my session will be slightly contrasting. It is more business and numbers and metrics and whatnot. All right. So let's get started. Yes, the usual thing. I think we can move to the next slide. So I think the usual disclaimer, every opinion or whatever I'm sharing, it's my learning, my understanding, and does not represent any organization that I work for or have worked for earlier. Right? Although I have used a lot of the content that I used to pitch to our customers, I have kind of removed some of the whatever, company specific info. All right. Let's start. So I think you have already done it. You have already explained what is LLM and how it is more powerful, right? I think I try to take some of these examples. I'll give you, I'll let you read these two sentences. So if you have read the two sentences and I ask you what does it refer to here, you will say trophy. And if I ask you what does it refer to here, you will say suitcase. This is not grammar, correct? This is not grammar, this is not a rule. This is how we interpret language, human beings, right? So this kind of, basically technically the problem it is solving is contextual attention. That is based on what is coming later, the ability to understand what does it refer to. So this kind of ability, while natural language understanding, NLP and NLU engines have existed forever, this kind of ability to contextually understand what is meant is new for LLMs, right? And I'm only focusing on what is new. This is not the only thing that is new. While a lot of focus, again, in the narrative that is being given, it understands ChatGPT and it is able to generate stuff. Two key things, reasoning and creativity. For business applications especially, reasoning, the ability to reason, because what do human beings do? If you look at most of the jobs that we do, we process certain inputs, as in we take certain inputs, we process it using our reasoning, and then we perform certain actions as part of our. The ability to reason through a model is completely new. And creativity also, I think you have already, the Manu has already given enough examples of creativity, so I don't need to speak about it. But you think of something like this, summarize key points from this book. It is not just creating, it is not just generating the next token. What is key point and what is a non-key point? It's a reasoning engine that is there, right? Act as a sales assistant, right? So I think all of us, actually while you were giving the talk, I got SMS from Bajaj Finance that they have approved a personal loan for me already and I just need to call on. So actually a lot of those interactions which were handled by people earlier, if I actually call, are now being handled by our bots because they are acting as a sales assistant. And if I ask them certain logical questions, they are able to use the reasoning engine within some of these LLMs and produce an answer. Let's move on. Yeah. So I want to make this more interactive and more kind of example focused. So one example I gave already, Bajaj Finance. This is another example. So imagine booking.com, right? If it had a chat bot, right, and someone went and said that I am getting a cheaper room in the same hotel on another website, cancel my booking. Right, there were three options. One option is this: I don't understand what you said. Can you repeat? Because that intent is not configured. There has to be some cancellation intent that has to be configured. Second is that it will hand over to a human agent, where the agent will come and help you cancel the booking. And the third option is there may be a flow that is configured that gets triggered on this intent, and that flow will have certain APIs, the cancellation API configured beneath it. It will hit that API, it will cancel the booking. Let us reimagine the same thing with the power of LLMs. After LLM, next slide. Yeah. Here you can go and configure rules that if a user comes to cancel a booking, ask them for the reason, which it does already. If you have ever cancelled any hotel booking, you have to give a reason mandatorily, right? So this is not a new thing. And if the reason is that they got a better deal somewhere else, try to retain them by offering discounts or complimentary breakfast or whatever, and you can write rules, business rules, that maximum discount allowed is whatever, 10%. Maximum 2 complimentary for 2 people, okay, or for 2 days, 2 nights, whatever. You can configure these rules, and in the runtime, based on whatever rules you have configured, the bot will try to convince the user and retain the user. And if your reason is something else, where the bot understands that, okay, there is no point giving this guy a coupon, it will not give a coupon and it will go ahead and cancel, right? So these kind of things, the same problems can be solved much, much better using the power of LLMs, particularly the reasoning capabilities of LLM. Again, here it is taking a decision to do certain thing here and a decision to do a certain other thing here. Let's go on. So now that I explained what are the new capabilities, particularly focusing on the reasoning abilities, so how do we have a framework to think of new applications, right? So this is just a framework. Again, this is nothing perfect. This is, I have said, not exhaustive. This is not just exhaustive. This is also not perfect. This is also, this is just a starting point where I have started. I think this will evolve and it will change completely over a period of think of anything that you can think of, tabular form. If you can think of it in a tabular form, it is probably something that you can structure, right? Your SQL queries or an Excel and whatever, right? Product information catalog, user activity data, these are structured data. And unstructured data is what, like Manu, you are dealing with, right? It is free form and stories, documents, website content, whatever, right? And the kind of output that you have to produce, again, if Manu's this thing is here, you are operating here, correct? Because it is highly creative. But let's say customer support, some of these, you don't want your customer support agents to create facts. You want them to stick to facts, right? If someone asks you what is the interest on a personal loan that you are going to get from HDFC Bank, you don't want that answer to be highly creative. You want that answer to be absolutely factual, right? So output and input, and we can move. Yeah. So move. Yeah. Next. Thank you. So broadly, three kinds of applications. I think again, top right, Copilot for everything. So in a way, what you showed is like a Copilot for a podcast creator, right? And that is why you were stressing on the human in the loop kind of part of it, right? Because the final quality, whether it is a marketing campaign, you will help it generate, and I saw you wrote heavily human in the loop in one of your slides, correct, sir? So marketing campaign, content creation, coding also, I think most of us may be using GitHub Copilot, right? Those kind of applications fall into Copilot for everything. Every employee in every company will get a Copilot over the next 5 years. I think this is kind of a given. Where and this is also because it is such a big and obvious opportunity, all the big techs are focused. This is where I am focused personally, automate extensively. Because I think that, while human beings, we are very good at certain things still much, much better, I think we are not very good at instruction adherence. Human beings, no matter how much instructions you give me, I will try to do my own thing in a way, like all humans have this nature. Right? So I think wherever you want to automate extensively and ensure very high level of instruction, even LLMs are not 100%, but often competing at the same level, right? So legal assistants, private tutor. So I have actually built a private tutor for my son using OpenAI assistants, this thing. Because he asked me a lot of questions. Today morning, he was asking me about Gautam Buddha and whatnot. I just asked him, okay, I have to go for this, you can chat with this. And he knows how to type slowly, right? So like this, Q&A applications. This is a very common thing. I think Walmart, anyone will have done this, that upload your documents and get this, right? So I think simple Q&A applications, customer support. And I also want to talk a little bit about this Elevate experience. I think this is something that I know like Google is working on. I know Microsoft is also working on. I think, so what you will see, so if I take Walmart only, right? So Walmart has certain categories like t-shirts, for example, which is very easy. Walmart will also sell a lot of very complicated categories. Or maybe let's take IKEA. IKEA is someone who is doing a pilot with us, right? So furniture is a very complicated category where it is not so easy that if you want, let's say, a TV unit, not all TV units are the same. You want to know your TV unit is made out of wood or whatever. There is a material there. There is a size there. There is a color there. There is a height. There is lots of things. So there you need consultation, not just search. If you try to go on to IKEA's website and search for a TV unit, you will probably not get the right one. You have to go physically, check it out, understand. You have to talk to someone to zone in on which this one TV unit you really want. And I think given a product catalog, it's like talk to my data. Given a product catalog, you can talk it. I want a TV unit that is my TV is 53 inch or whatever, 43 inch, 55 inch. It needs to be, my house is white color, my room is white color. You can say things like this. It will understand how to translate that. Mobile number on their website, only 20 people go on to book a test drive. And after test drive, obviously the conversion to sale is very high. For the rest 80%, they sent a WhatsApp campaign. Okay. And in the WhatsApp campaign, they put a sales assistant that, okay, you try to convince the customer to book a test drive. That was the success criteria. People had all sorts of questions. Like, okay, how does this bike compare with that bike? What are the safety features of this bike? Can you give me a test drive at my home? I know you give test drive for cars at home. Can I take a test drive for a bike at home? People have all sorts of questions which the bot is able to answer. And roughly, I am not sharing here the exact numbers, but much more than 20% of the people who chatted, not of the 80% ka 20, of the like I think 10% of the audience engaged with the bot, and then 2% of them, and then 20% of them kind of. So overall 80, may say 2 got converted into a new kind of booking for them, which obviously it has business benefit, because out of the 20, so 10% extra bookings overall for them, right? So 10% increase in business for them. So next one, yeah. And this is like a summary. I think this is the last slide. This should be the last slide, right? Yeah. I will just stop here. I think I spoke about sales assistant. I spoke about product queries. I gave example of that. Knowledge bot, I think people understand. And agent assist is where we give the same abilities to the agent to answer queries. I have taken out some of the numbers here, but if you want to ask, you can ask. I can share what kind of impact this is creating. Yeah. Yeah. Hallucination, correct, yes. So, yeah. Yes. So, what we have done is, what we have realized is that for knowledge bot especially, so hallucination is a problem everywhere, but for this, the sensitivity is very higher. Okay. So for that, we don't use GPT, or we don't use anything from OpenAI. I mean, we use the embeddings API from OpenAI, but embeddings API is fine. I create embeddings and I do a embedding search. What we have done is we have implemented a RAG pipeline, and we are very early in this. We implemented a RAG pipeline back in January of this year, because search is retrieval, and retrieval is always fact-based, right? So we implemented a RAG pipeline, and there the answer generation from the retrieved data, answer generation ke liye we have created our own model. So like you mentioned that fine tuning, I think you gave this mental model that you don't access these parts, only access these parts of this thing. So we have fine tuned based on Llama 2 our own model, where we have, it is LoRa, right? LoRa technique. So only the outer layers we have modified the weights, and that helps us retain the reasoning capabilities while suppressing the creativity capabilities. So I have over 60, so I'm telling October end numbers, November end numbers I'll get in the next week. October end, we had 65 bots live overall across first 3. This is, I don't consider a bot. This is first 3. 65 bots live, answering over 1.5 million queries live. 1.5 million answers are getting, more questions are going, sometimes it doesn't answer. Out of which this one is doing 500,000, and not even one customer has complained about hallucination yet. Temperature parameter helps you to reduce it, but does not help you eliminate it. So Bajaj Finance said that if a customer asks what is the interest rate for a loan, 1 million times the answer has to be right. 1 million times I cannot. Then we have a bot in US for Marlboro. I'll give an example. Marlboro in US, they have different brands. One is a nicotine patch. Right. So by regulation, the bot cannot say the word flavor. If someone asks you what are the flavors, it has to answer varieties, and it is a legal requirement. So you can use generative AI, non-generative, they don't care. It is legal requirement. So what I do is I have a post-processing pipeline. After the answer is generated, also there is a post-processing pipeline where again business-specific rules can be configured. So there I do like word replace and rephrasing. But if the answer is generated in a way flavors and varieties, then I cannot do a blind replace. I cannot say varieties and varieties. So I have to be grammatically correct and all of that. So there is a post-processing pipeline and all of that which we have built over time. But essentially that is what we do. I don't use OpenAI. It is our own model. We have fine-tuned using Llama 2. We have created our own model for this. Yes, AWS. We are hosted on Bedrock as well as on SageMaker. I think our model is listed on SageMaker now, so you can find us on there. 13 is what we have found more useful than 7B. We started with 7B.
So once you build a pipeline, there is always an evaluation. You won't get the answers like 100% correct.
Yeah.
So
which we are finding a lot valuable. What we have seen typically for, I know the Marlboro case, like 80% of the questions that were given by the client found a correct answer from the model. Roughly 15% did not find any answer. The model did not was not able to answer them, and 5% they said like, okay, it's okay. I mean, it's partially correct, not ideal, is what they said.
okay.
But that is a slightly optimistic case. For other clients, the numbers are lower than 80%.
Lower than 80% would be again a question mark, right? So any of the models or any of the, like, in technicality, we can come up with. So recently I was reading one paper like regarding this self-critic. So they come up with something called as assistant ranking, where it can reduce, or it gives 99% of accurate answers. Like 80% is, again, it's less, right? 99% accurate. So is there like there are in the real world they have implemented it, or I just want to know, is it just in the papers, or?
I'm not so technical to probably the right person to answer that question. I'm more on the product side. We are nowhere near 99% accuracy. This much I can tell you honestly. Because what has happened is that one of the things that you have to understand in the pipeline, the first stage is always creating the embeddings. Correct. So there I have to parse the data. I have to whatever data is their website, I have to understand the data and create the embedding. There itself, I think a lot of improvement what we are seeing, because a lot of the input is not website, it is PDF. The PDF will have an image. The PDF will have a table, right? How do you take out information from a table that is inside a PDF, right? So those kind of problems, at least in our domain, we are finding that if we solve those challenges better, there is a bigger uplift in the near term. That is what the roadmap is focused on.
Yeah, amazing.
So actually just wanted to add to this discussion that was just now happening about a 99% accurate model. So I mean, just putting my thought across as a data scientist, that basically no model can be 99% accurate, because any model, whether it's LLM or whether it's normal AI, would have to train itself on certain data. Now, beyond 92% accuracy as a thumb rule is considered overfitting. So that if a model is more than 92% accurate, there might be some problem with its training.
There could be overfitting.
There could be overfitting.
Yeah.
So that's just one point I just wanted to like, what are
Information that is there, right? It is at 0 or 5. I mean, industry wide, right? So I am offering them 80 or even like 70, 65, 70 is easy to achieve, I'd say. Like, so for me, right, the business opportunity is to take a company from 0 to 65, and I am focused on how many companies can I get from 0 to 65 rather than from 65 to 90 or 80. I think that we can solve that after 5 years. I will need to spend the next 5 years going from 0 to 65. So that problem right now is not a very high priority problem from a business perspective for me.
Absolutely, yeah, understandable. Thanks.